Hari, we are good to start, right? Because I see has not joined yet, but he might be covering in the next session, like next group, because of the emergency.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if everyone's logged on, we'll go ahead and get started. Really want to encourage group participation here. If you have questions, raise your hand. If you're a super user and have something to add, please add it. You guys have been through training before, but now we're doing it with the larger group. So if you have anything to add or anything you think we should go over, please speak up. So don't be shy. Any questions?
I'll go ahead, Erin, and start the recording.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we just wanted to start a little bit. Can we use the same super user ID to log into Sandbox environment for this training too? Yes, you can. It would be the same. Thank you. Okay, so what is Salesforce? Salesforce is the world's #1 customer relationship management, which you'll often hear referred to as CRM platform. It's a cloud-based software, which means information that is one person enters, another can see. It's not just on our own computer, which is a lot of the value that Salesforce brings, that everything is shared in one place. It gives a 360-degree view of the customer, providing customer relationship management software and applications. It focuses on sales cases, customer service, marketing, automation, analytics, and application development. So has everyone heard of Salesforce before this project? It's a pretty world-renowned program and software. So it's really exciting that everybody in this group is moving to using the system. Okay, so now we're going to get into how you'll use the system and the case management aspect of Salesforce. So I'm just going to bring Salesforce up. If you're logged in, feel free to follow along. Okay, so what you'll see in the bottom left corner is something called Omnichannel. And what Omnichannel does is, based on location and skills that an agent has, it's going to route cases to you based on the parameters we've set in the system around the things I've mentioned. So in order to start receiving cases, you would go onto Omnichannel and go available. And that's going to say, I'm ready to work and I'm ready to take a case. So as you can see, cases come up in Omnichannel, and I can go ahead and reject it or accept it. A lot of your cases are going to come in through the portal application. So there's a customer-facing portal where if they have an issue, that they can input it into the portal and it automatically will move it into a Salesforce case. So I'm going to pass it over to Pascal now to show the portal and what the customer enters. So Pascal's going to act as the customer, and then we'll see how it flows into Salesforce. So Pascal, do you want to go ahead and share your screen and walk us through the portal?
Sure. Everyone can see the screen now?
I can.
Great,
Yes.
thank you. Awesome. All right, so I'm logged in as a customer. This is a test environment again. So, but it looks exactly the same as in production, though the list of cases will not be the same because we're in the test environment. So this is the portal view for the customer. So they have access to 2 tabs here. They have access to the search here as well. They have bell icon notifications as well as agents have. And they have their little icon here, which they can log out from there. So we're on the home page right now, and we can see support tickets in request lists. So cases for the accounts that the customer is tied to. Basically, if my contact here is a contact on multiple accounts, I'm going to see the cases for all the accounts that I belong to. But if I have access, or if I'm a contact on just one account, then I'll see all cases for that specific account that I'm tied to. Here, I'm on the all open cases list view, but if I want, I can go see all closed cases, all open change requests, all open incidents, all open service requests, all waiting for requester cases. So these are mostly the ones that TELUS is waiting for an answer from the contact of the case. And I also have my open cases. Just beside that, we have 3 icons. One allows the customer to export to CSV a list of cases that they'll be on. They can refresh and they can filter based on some filters here, like case number, subject account, contact, and product topic. If they want to access one of the cases that are in the list, they can just click on the case number. They also have visibility of the type, of the priority of the case, and all of that. So now, as Aaron mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and submit a new case. So I have an issue, and I want to raise a ticket for in Salesforce for you to pick up. So my account is auto selected because I have access to only one account. So I'm a contact of only that account. If that account has more than one asset product, the customer will be asked to select them. And when I hit next, I'm now on the case creation form. So they have to fill in multiple fields here that are mandatory. So what is the type of your request? So they have options for service request, change request, or incident. Let's pick incident. They can put in their description of the request or the issue. So I'm just gonna put something here. And they have a list of topics that they can select for that specific product that was selected at the beginning. So for TPM E3, the team has decided to give access to the customer on the portal to those 4 topics. So this is a setting that managers can adjust. So I'm just gonna pick one here. And if I want to change it, I can just click the X. Environment, they can decide if it's test, production, or both. Enter the current behavior. Expected behavior. And here, what is the severity of the request and how many users are affected. So they have 5 choices with a little definition of it. How many users? They can decide to upload files from here or after they submit the case. So let's just upload a file here. And submit. Once the case gets created, it's going to populate this case summary form, which has just a few fields. But if I want to go on the case, I click on the link there, and it's going to bring me to the case itself. And I'm going to see the information about the case at the top. Here they have comments. So, for example, if they want to add a comment to the agent that is going to receive that case, they can put their comments, or for example, if you would request some more information, that's where they would see the information, your comments on the case. If I go to the case details, they can see the details of the case, but nothing here is editable. So after they create the case, they cannot edit the case. So it's really like a one-time, they create a case, and after that, they will just navigate to the comment and add some comments if they made a mistake, for example. And if they want to add files, they can do it again from here. And that's mostly it for the customer view. So I'll hand it over.
Thanks, Pascal. I was just going to ask, are there any questions around the customer view? So for this demonstration, Pascal's acting as the customer and I'm acting as the agent. So everything you just saw is how the customer would input a case to you through the customer portal. Looks like we have a question in the chat. While creating a ticket is allowed to upload only one file. In ticket types, there exists only 3 types. We have additionally problem ticket, type, now, and auto task.
Currently, the problem type is not selectable by the customer. It was decided by management or by the teams that we would not show that type to the customer to select. So they only have visibility to the 3 other types. And for the first questions, Eskila, it is only like they can upload more than one file. They just need to do it. They can drop files as well. So if they do the drop file, then they would probably be able to upload more than one. But when they create it, they can also go back on the view here and add files there. But for multiple files, for multiple files, I think it would be the drop files option. There was 2 options when I was creating it, so.
And you'll see when I act as an agent, anything that the customer puts in can be overridden by the agent. And so you can make it a problem ticket as an agent. We just didn't want to give that ability to the customer. We wanted the agent to identify it as a problem, so it's escalated accordingly. Can screenshots be copied in a comment? So it has attached as a file, right, Pascal?
It has to be attached as a file, yeah. And the maximum file size allowed is 10 times 1 gig, if I'm not mistaken. So 10 files, maximum of 1 gig each.
Any more questions about the portal before we flip over to the agent view? Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen again and now act as the agent. So now I'm in Salesforce and I accept the case in Omnichannel by hitting the accept button or the check mark. It automatically brings you to the case with all the case details.
Erin?
Yes?
I'm sorry, that one was already in progress. I think it's an old test one, or was it a reassignment from somebody? Yeah, I think that was it. So can you just go ahead and resolve that one, and we'll pick a new one. Sorry, sometimes there's old data from other sessions that we get. So we just want to start from scratch here. So this is a brand new case. We can see the new status with the web origin. The case number is there, and in bold, it's the subject of the case. So I'll leave it to you to start working on it.
Okay, so I've accepted the case that comes from the web. Right away, you're going to get this pop-up that says, please acknowledge that the case has the right case type, impact, and urgency, or edit the case. And again, like we talked about before, the customer, anything that the customer can input can be overwritten by the agent, because ultimately it's up to the agent to make sure that everything is entered correctly. So we will go ahead and acknowledge that we've checked those things. So you check the case type and the impact and urgency.
Basically, Erin, if I can add to that,
Yes.
It would be like the agent must verify all information entered. So not just the impact, urgency, and the type. It's really like all fields that are filled in, but ultimately the type, the impact, and urgency are really important because they drive the SLAs. So all the milestones on the case. So that's why these are the most important ones. And if I can add to that, we have a field that will track which priority the customer has entered based on impact and urgency. If you scroll down a little bit, it says that initial customer priority is a P1. But when you review the information and you think that impact urgency is just a little, is not right, then it's gonna, and you edit it, it's gonna populate a different priority in the priority field.
These two fields are programmed to automatically update the priority. So based on the two fields the customer put in, it's gonna say initial customer priority, but then you have the opportunity to change it. Go ahead with the question.
Yes, Erin. Erin, I could not, that is in the due date, there is no default date. So depending on the priority or the urgency, is the due date defaulted?
Due date is not defaulted. That is something that you can edit as an agent.
Okay. Thank you, Erin.
No problem.
And just before you continue, Erin,
Yeah.
Just when you accepted the case in omnichannel, when it's made in the system automatically populated the case on the screen for you, but it's also made the status updated to assigned, and you became the case owner of the case. So it changed from the intake queue to your name, and the status changed from new to assigned. That's some automation that you'll notice. And as soon as you acknowledge or edit the case, the status is going to change to in progress. So that's also something that is important for you guys to remember, that some automations are made based on those two fields.
So as Pascal mentioned, before I acknowledge it, I'm going to go over the details of the case. So like she mentioned, the status and the case owner automatically populates. It also automatically populates the case origin, that it came from the web. It updates the contact name and the account name based on what comes in from the portal, the description that the customer inputted, the region, the product, and the type. So all of this pulls in from the portal but it's up to you as the case owner when you work the case to make sure the information is all correct. If you need to edit anything, there's edit buttons beside each field. And so you can go in and edit anything that needs to be updated. So again, the impact and the urgency, you can go in and update it and save. And see how there it then changed the priority to a P2. Everything you do to a case logs in this all update section. So anything that's added or changed, it keeps track of all that. So whether it's you or someone else goes in, they can see all the activity on the case. So, oh, go ahead, Pascal.
Yes, thank you. So the first, just want to point out that if you confirm that a priority of a case is a P1 or P2, it will automatically trigger an email to managers. So there are some specific people that are set up to receive those notifications, and they will be notified that the P1 or P2 has been raised for this specific product.
Perfect, thank you. Do we want to talk a little bit about the SLAs and how they work, Pascal?
Yeah, we can. You can, yeah.
So the SLAs are dependent on the case origin, so where it came from. So in this case, the web, the account, the product, and the hours of operation. So, but we have uploaded into the production system all the fields that help drive those SLAs and then the time associated with them. So those 4 fields help drive the SLAs and can be reported on. If you leave a case in status or in progress, so this one, sorry, if you leave it as assigned but don't start working the case, the timer doesn't start until it's in progress. And you must engage with the customer to start the SLA. So you must, sorry, go ahead, Pascal.
Can you go back? Can you go to the related tab just to show where the milestone ticks? The related tab just before details on the left panel. That, yeah. That's probably an old case. If you go on case 313712, click. You must not do that because of omnichannel, Aaron. You cannot duplicate your slide, your tabs. I know it's for the training purpose, but just for everyone, omnichannel doesn't work very well with multiple Salesforce tab open. So don't do what Aaron just did, please.
And don't do it. I just learned something too.
Yes. So Aaron, just go at the global search at the top. You never go to the cases object list view to search. You always go to the top.
What was the case number, Pascal?
313712. There you go. That one should have milestones on it. Oh, okay. I think, let me take note of that. I'll just ask or Dev. In the meantime, so you can continue. So I just what I wanted to point out to Aaron is that the milestones are, so we have 2 sets of milestones, first response timer and resolution. first response timer is a first human contact that you'll do to the customer. And for that one, so the system starts ticking for each of the milestones based on the hours of operation of the team that are going to be all find out in the case. So based on the case origin, based on priorities, based on as well the what is it called? Sorry. It's called, if you go back, there's also the case type. All these settings are made in the background, and you're going to have a start date and a targeted date for the milestones, and it will tick if you're inside of your hours of operation. Otherwise, it won't be ticking, and it will be. It's just to correct one information that you said, Aaron, that the milestone is ticking from the start of the case. I don't know if it's clear. Do you understand, Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to go back to the case that I was working through Omnichannel. So you can go back into the case, and then we can respond to the customer.
So as a GSD agent, you're gonna do the triage of the case, and so you'll be the first person receiving the case initially. You're gonna do the triage of the case. So if you're able to resolve the case, you'll go ahead and do the first human contact to the customer, and then resolve the case. And if not, you will be doing a reassignment to your advanced GSD, or doing the skill transfer to another tier level.
So you'll see there's a comment bar. So here you can write a comment. If you just click save and don't click this public button, it will not post to the portal. So you can make a comment internally and save it. So it'll show on the activities in the case. Or if you want to contact with the customer, you can type a message to them. And click public and save it. So once you do a public comment, it's going to go back to the customer and show on the portal. Does that make sense? So if we want the customer to see it, we can click public and it will go on the portal. If we want it to be an internal comment, we just, we don't click that and we click save, but it all records in the update section below. There's also a section called post. So here, this is internal, it's an internal post, but you have the ability to tag other members of your team, or there's more options for formatting. But the post is all internal.
So, hi, Erin. This is Sridhar here. What is the difference between comment and post?
So comment can go public on the portal, And post is internal, and you have the ability to tag team members.
Okay.
And the post also has more formatting, and you can add pictures as well. So you can kind of attach a file that you have or put a link in there.
So you can add files, there's formatting, you can tag team members so they'll be alerted, but it is not customer facing. Only the public comment is customer facing.
Okay. Another question we have here: if I need to send some files to customer also in the ticket, how can I do that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
If I need to forward some files to the customer in the ticket, the case, how will I do that?
So files, I believe, have to be sent through email, right, Pascal?
You have a file on the related tab. So there's a file related list. And if you click on upload files,
I'll just.
and when you click on the file that you upload, there's options there at the top. Oops. Click on it. At the top, you have like, what is the case number that you're on?
313-689.
689 and 313-689. Just a moment. Just a moment. 313-689. So if you click on the file there that you just uploaded, there's options that you can say, so click on it. When you'll be on it, there's a share, there's a public link. If you click on the little drop down arrow at the top, oops, stop exiting it, please.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So you have view file details, edit file details. There is one option. Is it the share or can you click on the edit file details, please? Tags. Okay. Please cancel here. It's the share, if I'm not mistaken.
Pascal, sorry for intervening. There is one small icon, add files, in the right side. Do we need to click on that?
It's one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, you can decide who you want to share it with. So here you would do like the customer, so the contact of the case. So here it's Sergio Castro, I think. Yeah, Sergio Castro. You have a typo in there, Aaron? Okay, you got it. Perfect. So now you can just share. So you decide who you share it with, and then it's visible for the customer on the portal.
So
So
you
maybe-
mean, sorry, you mean to say if we have customer members of 3, so we can share only, we have an option to share one person itself, right? In that way, you are saying.
Yeah, you can decide which one you're sharing it with.
Okay. We cannot share the file in the command tab, right? In that case.
No, there's no option there to attach. It has to, you have to go to the related tab and go to the files. If
Okay.
you add a file,
Yeah.
we'll go through it again.
Mm.
So you would be, here are the details of the case. You have a file you want to send the customer. You go to the related tab, down to files, upload a file. It uploads. You open it up. You click share. And then you choose the contact that you want to share it with. In this case, the contact on the case was Sergio C. You click on his name. You can add a message.
And before you save, can you click on who can access? Yeah, and verify. So I think here, you have expiration date. You can set up also password. You can create a link. What does it say at the bottom? Owner settings, prevent others from.
Sharing or unsharing.
Okay. So now you can share.
You can click share and then it would then go to the portal.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Any questions over anything that we've went through? So let's just do a quick scenario here. I want to reply back to the customer and I want them to see it on the portal. Can anyone answer what's the most important step if I was to type here and I wanted it to be shared with the customer? Just go ahead and put in the chat the step I have to do that they'll see it on the portal. What am I missing here if I wanted the customer to see this comment? What's the step I'm
Enabling public.
Public.
That's right. Public. That's right. And if I wanted to tag someone in the team to show them the case,
Post.
what would I do?
Post.
That's right. Perfect.
There's a question, Erin. Oops.
Okay.
There's a question in the chat from Deepa Lakshmi. So can we map customer with support login so that tickets raised by that customer alone will be viewed in omnichannel? Erin, do you understand the question?
Yeah, Pascal, shall I help you?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it is like if for PepsiCo, if PepsiCo is a customer, all the tickets that are entered by PepsiCo, they have to be defaulted to Ramesh login. Ramesh is an agent. So is that
Agent.
possible?
Yes. So Erin?
Yes.
So this is going to be a setting made by your supervisor or manager. So Erin, if you could go on the account here for that case. So this is test environment again. So here on the account, we have a product account specialists quick link. It's the last one. If you could click on it, please.
Which one? Sorry, Pascal?
Go at the top. There's the related list quick links. you click on product account specialist, the last one. And in there, you can see you can define for which product, for which tier level you want a preferred agent. So every time that GSD is going to do the skill transfer to the tier level, tier 3, or tier 2 for the product E3, it's going to go to the agent, lavender test agent consumer goods. So for example, here, we would have one line as product account specialist for product TPM E3 or E4, tier level, tier 2, functional support. That would go, instead of lavender, it would go to Ramesh. So it's your supervisor that will provide us with the list of accounts that must be having a preferred agent. So it won't go to all of the agents if you have a preferred agent on the account. Does that make sense? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Pascal.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Elsie. Now.
Yes, Pascal, just one quick question here. There is possibility that more than one resource is assigned to that account, right? Because, say, for example, if Ramesh is taking a day off, and then it needs to be redirected to the next person in line. So we are assuming that it will be, yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes, so it's going to be the manager that is going to have to go to the account and add on the preferred agent or product account specialist object, we can add multiple lines, but activate one and deactivate one. So we can have for example, if Kanesh is off today, we can deactivate him, or we can just change the name on it, and it's going to be the other person that is going to receive it.
Okay. So the omni-channel of Ramesh will be offline. So the ticket will...
the ticket will be handed over to that specific agent that is replacing Ramesh.
Okay, so this is a mandatory step that the supervisor has to do if someone is taking a day off, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we have that person that is assigned to preferred product account specialist. Yeah.
Okay, Pascal. Thank you.
And we have supervisor training coming up that is meant for the supervisors, that'll show reporting and how to do those steps. We just don't cover that in this session. We do that with just the supervisors.
Mina has her raised hand.
Yes, Pascal, just one quick question around the due date. So I earlier thought that the due date gets populated automatically with the urgency and priority of the ticket. But as you just mentioned to Sasikala that we have to enter it by ourselves. Then, for example, there is a P2 incident ticket, then person can add any random date and make sure SLAs are not missed. So how do we take care of that? Because there is one more due date, expected due date.
So those dates are not dates that are really related to the SLAs and milestones. They are more for support perspective. When do we think when the customer has requested it to be done, for example. So it's not tied to the milestones and SLAs. It's really different. It's not related to each other.
Okay.
So these are independent entitlements and SLAs and milestones.
Okay.
So the SLAs again are driven on the case origin. Where did it come from? The account, who is the customer, the product, what product is it, and the hours of operation. Those are what drive the SLAs.
Okay, okay. So in case I need to review like which incidents are approaching their SLAs, I might have to refer to the report.
Yeah, we have some reporting tools and some dashboards for that. But we will be integrating a new column in some of the list views that you'll have access. So for example, in the list view of my open cases, we will add a column that will tell you the time to the next milestone, meaning that you'll know like how long it remains for the next milestone to expire.
Okay.
So we'll add that very soon to the list views.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was on mute, sorry. So Erin,
Yep.
why don't we just like, because it's been a long time that we're working that case, why don't we just resolve it? Or maybe you can just do a very quick explanation of the buttons and then resolve the case. Or was it there that you were going? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I didn't know if we wanted to demonstrate if we need more information from the customer and then how it looks like when they respond to the case.
I think we could do that with someone else sharing their screen maybe, or yeah, maybe we can, yeah, because going to the end of the case would be nice, I would say, I think, for...
Sure. So when you have a case, you want, there's sort of three things you can do. So after you edit it and you make sure that the information that came in is correct from the customer, you can ask the customer for more information by doing the public comment, which we did. So ask yourself, do I need more information from the customer? Can I close it? Or does it need to be escalated to someone else? So you can change the case owner to someone else by clicking the button beside case owner. So if you wanted to send it to a manager or somebody else, you can do a search and then change the owner to them. And then the case will move from you over to the individual you identified.
And that would be used most of the time by GSD people that are that needs advanced GSD people to look at the case, as well as like Erin mentioned, requesting a manager, or maybe the contact of the case has raised a case for a specific agent, then you could change the owner from there. You can go ahead, Erin.
Looks like we have a question.
Hi, if I'm receiving a case and the information provided by the customer is not appropriate, and if I require some more information, I'm commenting more information required. And do I need to change the status of the ticket of the case, or how it is?
No, if you ask for more information and mark it as public, it's still going to say in progress. And when the customer responds to you, you'll receive a notification and it'll pop back up in your Omni channel.
Erin, let me correct you. That's not true. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So yes, you must change the status because if you don't, it won't go in your omni-channel. So there are some criteria for cases to appear in omni-channel. So you must, every time you ask a question to the customer, you must change the status. So Erin, you can go there and show where to change the status, please, with the change status button at the top. Thank you. And then you would change, you could select one of the waiting status. So we have like waiting for change request, waiting for requester. So those are the top 5, I think, are the ones that you must select when you request an information from the customer. And when they reply, then like when you change the status in omnichannel, what it will do is it will put it with a paused icon. Maybe you can do it, Erin, then, since we had the question. So changing the status, if you open up your omnichannel, Erin, you can see that the case that Erin is on, like I can't see, it's 68, ending by 689, now has a pause icon and a new item gets offered to her. So when the customer will reply back, Erin, if you can close the tab there in the background of your screen. So now if I reply back as a customer to that case, then
Pascal, sorry, will you be able to open your screen and show us how it appears in customers portal? If it is okay.
yes, we can do that. So Erin, I'm gonna share.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. So can you do another comment on the case, Erin, please?
I can, yeah.
Thank you. On the 689?
Yep.
Great. So now you're going to see how the customer will view their replies on a case or comments that you make public as the agent. So they'll receive a bell icon notification. When they click on it, it will pop up the case and they can do the reply from the comment tab. And when a public comment is made by the agent, they get the bell icon notification in the portal, but they also get an email telling them that they received a new comment on case 12345, for example.
So once the customer replied back on that, then it will change to the pause will change, right? In that case.
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
I mean, the customer replied back to our question. So the ticket status the case status will change from pause to in progress, right? Automatically.
It will go, so what is the status of your case, Erin?
Waiting for requester.
Okay. I'm not sure. So here, when I do a comment, it's 313689, right? So when I do the comment as a customer, now the case status will move back to needs review. So if it was set in a waiting status, it will be now set as needs review. It will get offered to Erin in her omni-channel, and it will have a purple dot. So the icon changes from paused to the purple dot. So Aaron, if you can share your screen again. And you're on mute.
Yep, no problem.
For the icon to appear, yeah, your status is in progress for some reason. It wasn't in waiting status. So since it's in progress, it would be just remaining in your inbox. So can you just change the status, please? Waiting for requester. You have to enter, when you change the status, you absolutely need to put in internal comments. So now it's paused. So if you close the tab on your screen, because you're waiting for the customer, so you must close your tab. Otherwise, if your tab is open, it won't show the purple dot icon in omnichannel. It will only show it when you don't have it open. So let me just do a comment again. And now it changed from pause icon to purple dot icon. It doesn't ring on your omnichannel, but it gets offered to you on your screen of the omnichannel. So if you click on it,
It also, the notification, you will receive a notification at the top on the bell icon.
Yeah. So by clicking on it, it's gonna appear on your screen now, and the status changes from waiting for requester to needs review. So that's also happening if the case was resolved and the customer made a reply. It would change the status to needs review, so you know that something has come back to you and you have to work on it. And it only happens like if the case owner is an agent. If it's a queue, then it won't be behaving the same. In Salesforce, the way it works for the case owner, you must be the owner of the case every time, like when you're working on it. So if you're working the case, you must be the owner of the case, so no one else gets it. And if you do a skill transfer or you hand it over to somebody else that is a specific agent, then you would change the case owner with the little icon, person icon, or click the skill transfer button when it's to another tier level, which is called also a queue. So this goes to tier 2, tier 3, professional services.
So you mean to say only the alert will be populated only for the case owners, right? Not for the supervisor.
Yeah. So the replies from the customer are always appearing for the agent that is the owner of the case. But like it's offered to you in omnichannel, that's what I mean. But a supervisor that looks at list of cases in the system, like they can see the replies of the customers, like all the data or all the information under all updates from, if you can click on the X there, Aaron, please, thank you. So everything that shows up under all updates here is visible to anyone having access to consumer goods cases in Salesforce as an agent.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Welcome.
So again, when you get the case, you now received the information back from the customer. You can either resolve the case yourself because you have the ability and the information to do so, to resolve it. And you would click the resolve button. You can change the case owner if you need to escalate it to a manager or a more senior person in the global service desk. You can change to the person, or you can do a skills transfer. So if you need to change it to a different queue, you click skills transfer and then decide where it needs to go. Basic support, functional support, technical support, account management, or professional services.
Normally, I'm sorry, Erin, the tier 1 basic support would be like, it depends, but situation, but tier 1 basic support would be, it would be yourself probably handing it over to another tier level. So you wouldn't probably put it back in your own queue, really. I don't know if it's clear. Maybe you can rephrase it, Erin, if it's not.
So if you are a tier 1 basic support, you're obviously not going to transfer it back to a tier 1 basic support because that's the queue that you're in. Those are the cases you're receiving. You would only use this if it's if you need to send it to another queue and another group of people to attend to the case because you don't have the ability to. Go ahead, Harry.
So it is possible that we can transfer the ticket to one more peer group, right? To the same level.
So if you wanted to send it to someone in the same level, you would go and change the case owner to the person.
That's it. Okay. If we are going to change, if we are changing to some other group, that means if a GST team member can't able to solve, then only we have to follow the process like the technical support, functional support, and those things. Right.
If there's someone specific you want to take the case, whether it be a manager or someone in your team that you want to work the case, you can pick a particular person by changing the case owner. If it is not someone within your team and it needs to go to another queue for another team, you do a skills transfer. So that's taking it out of your team's queue and sending it to another team that works on, for example, technical support. So if this is something that you need help with, it's not your team's level to deal with, then you skill transfer it to the team that needs to work the case to resolve it.
Okay.
So for example, if we want to send it to technical support, we would choose technical support. The region and the product are auto defaulted by what's on the case, and you would click next.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay. Can we add an email group along with the owner of the case? Is it possible?
Is it possible to send it to an email group?
Yeah.
No.
So when you change the case, it goes through. When you do skill transfer, it's going to go into the queue. So it's going to appear on their Omni channel or their list of open cases, and they're going to be notified of the new case through Omni channel.
Okay. Okay.
No.
No, my question is like instead of adding one person in the as a owner, can we add a group as the owner? Is it possible?
No.
No, right? Okay.
No. It has to be the case owner at some, like, you can transfer the case to a group, But once it reaches the group, a specific agent is going to have to accept it in their Omni. So you can, like, the owner cannot be a group. It can only be a specific agent that will handle the case. But at some point during the process, yes, it will be assigned to a group, but it will change once the agent accepts it in omnichannel. So by doing the skill transfer to tier 2, for example, there are 2 fields on the case screen. If you can minimize your omnichannel, please. There are under the region on the left. So in contact information section, we have the account name, we have region, and we have tier level and skill transfer status. So that means that this case was transferred to tier 3 technical support, and it's pending acceptance because no one from the tier 3 team, technical support with the region APAC, with the product E3 is available right now. And when someone becomes available and accepted, it will say accepted instead of pending accepted.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, so Erin, do you want to resolve that case? Just want to show you when you resolve a case, there are the best way to resolve a case is to use the button, just because the 2 mandatory fields populate on the screen and it's just easier for you. So during all training sessions, we will be trying to demo you the easiest way and the less clickable way. So that's our recommendation that we'll do.
So when you resolve, it's going to say, it's going to give you options of the reason that it's resolved. So either the issue resolved or it was canceled. So you would pick the appropriate selection. So in this case, let's say we resolved the issue. You can make some resolution notes. We provided access to the system they requested, or whatever the actions you took to resolve the case, and hit save. So it will show in the updates as well. And then the status is then changed to resolved.
And you become the owner of the case if you were not.
Any questions about that?
Can we reopen the case? Resolved.
Pardon?
Can we reopen the case after closing?
There is a button here that you can reopen and explain why.
You can only reopen a case for 5 days. After 5 days, if there was no reply from the customer, that the case has to be reopened, or if you don't manually reopen it, it will set it to closed and you won't be able to reopen it after 5 days.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe now, Pascal, I'll show in this example, we reopened the case because what we thought as the case owner to resolve the case didn't work. And now we have to escalate it to dev, and it requires a JIRA ticket.
Yes, sure.
Maybe we'll go through that now.
Yeah, that's a
So
good.
so in this example, we reopened the case because the customer had notified that we didn't in fact resolve the issue. And after looking at the information from the customer, we realized that this is actually needs to go to the development team and requires to be sent to JIRA. So in that case, you'll see a tab called Dev Tickets. So if you click on dev tickets, it's going to say, do you want a new dev ticket or do you want to link to an existing dev ticket? In this case, there isn't an existing dev ticket and we would want to open a new dev ticket.
Yeah, that's because the Excedra Jira is not set up yet, Erin, based on the product. So for E3, it's going to be the Excedra Jira. And for E4, it's another, it's already set up. So if you change the product to E4, and you'll have to update the product topic. Let me check if the account has an asset for that. Yeah, you're good. So now you need to put, when you change the product of the case, it has to, you have to change the product topic because the product topic is the topic of the case, but dependent on which product you're putting in. And now you can select it here. I think Jill raised the hand.
Go ahead, Jill.
Just a quick thing we should double check on is E4, you should be able to put tickets to either TPM Global Bugs, which is Tech Jira,
Yes.
or GTS, which is the Excedra Jira. And then for E3, that instance is actually going to sit on Tech Jira. That's the new one that we refer the tickets to. There was this is what we've been working on with Ben. So there will be a new instance that Ben is setting up. That ticket gets referred over there, and then the team will continue to action it there, and Ben will help with the training on the Jira side.
Okay, so for E3 product, you're saying that the Excedra Jira is not going to be set up for the go live?
It's not on Excedra. It's on TAC.
Oh, okay.
It's a different one. It's just been provided. Let's take that offline and confirm with Brigitte. Ben just set it up last week. So.
Okay. Erin, maybe we can take another case. I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
But in answer to the questions this morning that came up in my email around how to get it, this will be the same general process for anybody that is basically referring development tickets to themselves. They will refer it through this field in Jira, and then they will pick it up on the other side in the actual Jira project that Ben has set up for you.
I'm getting there, Erin.
Okay, we have a question in the meantime. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, that was for Jen. Yeah, I think, Jen, you might have seen my email. I had requested for a quick call, and I think I'm going to connect with Ben. But if I understand correctly, I think Ben is more of a Jira person. So
yes,
I just wanted...
and Ben is the Jira person. So how it works is on this side, this is how you refer to Jira in Salesforce. That is what Pascal is showing now. And then Ben will show you what happens after it goes to Jira.
Okay. So basically that ticket, so we'll be still using the problem and change request tickets in SFDC, but in case there are code changes, we have to link it to the Jira ticket that Ben has created.
Correct. And it's just because Salesforce hasn't been built out, and we're trying to standardize, of course. It hasn't been built out to hold things like pieces of code or any development comments or tasks. And you're just the first. The Americas will be doing this as well. So we'll get everybody onto a common process on how we manage this.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And Pascal, where I think the confusion comes in is EMEA for the same process. Theirs is in TAC Jira. It's an Excedra Jira because EMEA is different. That's where the difference is.
Yeah. Okay.
We will get them all standardized eventually.
So just for the purpose of the dev ticket demonstration, we changed the case number. So it's not gonna be appearing in the omni-channel for Aaron. So we're just gonna go over the process for dev tickets. So that the scenario is still the same. So for example, Aaron resolved the case, and finally the customer came back to her saying that it's still occurring. And now she, as a support agent, she thinks that she needs to hand it over to Jira, to Global GPS. And now she will create a dev ticket on an incident case.
Okay, so as we mentioned before, we go to that dev tickets tab. We're going to create a new dev ticket. It's going to pull in the summary and the description as the customer had put on the portal. You can add any comments. You can add a root cause, summary, a version, priority, whether it's a known issue. And then you would hit submit. You can also add in the description the correspondence you've had with the customer and the steps to resolve it. And then you would hit submit.
Sorry,
And then,
not the steps to resolve, my bad, Erin. It's more like the replicable steps or the steps to reproduce the issue, basically.
any information, it would be like if you're sending an email to Dev to let them know what the issue is, you put that in the comments. So anything that they need to know. And then once you hit submit, it will create a new dev ticket that will come up as the reference.
In terms of dev tickets object here, so it is creating two sets of records. So the first one, link in blue, which says in the first column, ref number, is a dev ticket reference, which is the Salesforce dev ticket reference for you. So it's the record for dev ticket reference. As you can see at the end of that line, it says sync status request for creation, which means that it is still synchronizing and trying to connect to Jira instance to create the dev ticket. So dev ticket reference is in Salesforce, and dev ticket is going to be the Jira ticket. So it's going to be the GTS number that is going to populate in here. And for seeing like the updates, sometimes you might have to refresh your Salesforce just because it is an integration to Jira. So sometimes it just has to, you have to do the refresh of your Salesforce, go back to the dev tickets tab, and now the dev ticket is created and you have access to it. So if you go to the dev ticket reference, Aaron, this is where you will be seeing the updates about the dev ticket. Are you comfortable to talk about that one, Aaron?
Go ahead, Pascal. Go ahead. Oh, we have a question.
Yeah, Pascal, is this the Salesforce reference ticket? Other than this, we have a dev ticket, which is the Jira ticket.
Correct. So dev ticket is the Jira ticket, and DTR is the dev ticket reference is in Salesforce. So the goal of that integration is to avoid that you have to go in Jira. So basically everything that you will want to do for that specific dev ticket reference or that Jira ticket, you will do it here by adding comments to communicate with the dev for example, if you have to add a label to that dev ticket, you would add a comment in here. If you have to upload a file, you would do it here. And every time that dev respond or add a comment in Jira on that dev ticket, you'll be notified via the bell icon as well as an email.
Okay.
So you
Thank
cannot
you.
tag, you're welcome. You cannot tag dev team members here, but you can add comment to that dev ticket reference record. So they are seeing the comments on the dev ticket in Jira.
Okay, what about the status of the dev ticket that is created? Will it get automatically updated here?
Yeah, so every time dev does an update on the dev ticket in Jira, the status, the assignee, the priority, the type as well, this will be updated on the dev ticket reference. And they must enter a comment if they have some updates. For example, if you can communicate with the customer that this change is now in their environment, then they would add a comment and you would be notified. So this is where you would communicate with them.
Okay, and in the Jira ticket that is created, do we have any reference of the Salesforce ticket in any of the fields?
Yeah, there is a link to the dev ticket reference.
Okay.
I don't think you have. You're welcome. I don't think you have access to Jira, right, Aaron? If you click on the dev ticket. What is your dev ticket reference number? 392?
Yeah.
Maybe I can share my screen for just the purpose of sharing what it looks like in Jira. So they have the dev ticket reference number in the title. This is the date that it was created, the dev ticket reference, here it's the subject, the description, it will show them the topic of the case. So access issues, for example, the description. If you had something in the root cause, known issue, product version, they will see that here, and who created basically the dev ticket reference in Salesforce, and here Salesforce dev ticket reference, they have the web link, and on the right side we have like the labels. These are automatic. These are the mapping for the labels. So for example, if you have to request this ticket to be with an extra label, then you would add it as a comment on the dev ticket reference for dev to add it here. You don't have to go in Jira to do it. You can just add a new comment for adding label ABC, for example. Yes, Vidal?
Hi, currently as a E3 team, we as a L2 technical team will do the bug fix, and we will create an auto task ticket. For any related to product fix, we will create a Jira ticket. Now, going forward, for L2 technical team also, we need to create the Jira ticket itself, right? In that case.
Correct.
If I'm understanding correct.
Yes, correct. And then you will pick up that ticket within Jira and do all the bug fixes within Jira as well.
Okay, thank you.
And as an agent, for example, on your case that you created that dev ticket, you can add in either in the post or the comment the dev ticket number, so the JIRA ticket, if you have to. Sorry. I think we have another question.
Yes, Pascal. Yeah, other than the bug fixes, sometimes we used to have some data patches also, where the component will not be changed, but we used to correct some data in the production server. So in those cases, I guess the dev ticket is not required. Yeah.
It really depends. So we're dealing with kind of a weird situation because generally speaking, support teams would never do those tasks. And so that's why we're trying to standardize a bit. I think that maybe that's something that we need to take offline and discuss where those go. We could talk to Emily about it and Zora as well. We're just trying to figure out what makes the most sense in the long term. But anything that requires development or that a support agent would not generally do, that should really all be going into JIRA.
Okay. Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome. And I know it's a funny one. These are a couple of outliers that we've been working through how to deal with.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Aaron, I'll hand it over to you to continue the process and more general information about Salesforce.
Awesome, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, I just want to talk a little bit about the layout of Salesforce and what some of the tabs and searches do. So here are your navigation tabs here. So when you click this arrow, it's going to give you objects that you have access to, and you can edit them and customize any ones that you want to automatically save to be open and at the top of the tabs here. You always want to be in Service Console. So for working cases and for case management, it's the Service Console. The sales team would use something called the Sales Console. So you will always be working in the Service Console. There's a favorites bar here. So if you have any favorites, favorite contacts, or anything you want to favorite, you can edit it. And it works just like your web browser in terms of favorites and bookmarks. So here, like I mentioned, there's a list of objects you have access to. So when you open up contacts, cases, any of the objects, it typically defaults to recently viewed, but there are other options. You can look at all contacts or my contacts. And then if there's anyone that's your preference, you can pin it. So it will be the first thing that comes up when you open that object. So cases, I have recently viewed pinned. But you could have open cases. You could pin that. So when you open up that object, that is what comes up. So up here is a global search. It is a very powerful tool. You've seen me use it a few times in this demo. So if you have something you want to search, it searches anything within Salesforce. So you can search contact names, email addresses, case numbers, JIRA ticket numbers, and it uses something called Einstein. So it will search through all the records that match whatever you're searching for. So in this case, if I wanted to search for Sergio, who is one of the contacts, it's going to show all the search results. So this is the little Einstein logo to show that Einstein did the search. So anything with Sergio in it, whether it's accounts, cases, contacts, it's going to bring that up. And so if you just want to look at accounts, you could drill down that way. There's filters, and then you can click and look for the information that you want. Suggestions will also appear as you type.
And it's always going to give you the 5 most recent results. And if you want to see the full list, you hit enter and it's going to bring you to the full list of cases that contains this number or all objects that contains that number.
Any questions about the global search bar? You could also, if you just want to search cases, you can select that option. So it only brings up the records related to cases. Any questions about any of that information? I really encourage you in the sandbox to go in and play and look at the different objects and how you can sort and filter, because it really does a lot and you can set it up to your individual preference. Pascal, is there anything else you think we should go over, or do you think in the last 25 minutes here we should pass it over to start working through some of the activities and give everyone an opportunity to play around with the system?
Yeah, I'll leave it to your judgment, Erin. We could go over talking about account contacts, how they are, how they look, how they are getting created, or that kind of stuff. It's really up to you. If you feel that we should go over receiving cases, it's your preference.
I think let's give the team an opportunity to get in and play around a little bit. And then if we have remaining time, then we can get into more details on that. Perfect. Do you want to lead the activities, Pascal?
Yeah. Can I get a volunteer from the GSD team to share their screen, and we'll go over receiving a case in omni-channel and deal with it as much as we can, and then hand it over to the next level of support. Who can do that? Any volunteer?
We have Siva, Sai, Vivek from GSD team, LC. Anyone?
So maybe we can have Siva?
Yep.
Thank you, Mina.
You're welcome.
So Siva, if you could share your screen, please.
Yeah, sure. Just give me 2 minutes. Let me share.
Oops, we lost him.
Oh,
Yeah, Pascal, I can share my screen if you.
Okay. All right, so you're on the Service Console application, so we're good. Now you currently have 2 cases in progress. So this means that the system will not send you a new case until you resolve those cases or until you put them in a different status or you hand it over to somebody else. So what kind of scenario would you want to do on that one? Would you like to scale transfer or resolve or change the status?
I will skill transfer one ticket and then I will resolve the other one.
Perfect.
This is an internal support one. So for this one, I will just skill transfer this to T2 functional support.
Perfect. So now it gets removed as soon as she did the skill transfer. It removed the case from her omni-channel and the case owner, this is
Ramesh. Santori. This is for Santori. Oh no, this is a different account.
Is this the one that is appearing? I don't think it's the one in your omni, right? We'll go on the case in internal support. If you click on in omni-channel, you click on it, it's going to populate it. By default, the system, so Salesforce always populate the main tab as the contact. And under that main tab, you have 2 sub-tabs, which is the one for the case as well as the previous one is the contact. So each object in Salesforce has icons to help you differentiate which object you're on. So this one is contact, this one is a case. Sometimes it's going to be the account. So this helps you know which object you're on. So now you're the case owner of this case here. It was an internal support, meaning that most of the time internal support cases will be from professional services. So these are initiated by the agents from the accounts. These are internally made.
Yep.
So you can go ahead and do the step that you wanted.
Resolve this case. Pascal, why do I see response already?
That was probably a case that got the rule for auto closure. So probably like we requested information from the customer, they didn't reply, so we sent a warning on day 5 to the customer, telling them that the case will be auto resolved. But it doesn't look like that. Let me check. Yeah, under show all updates. If you scroll down a little bit. And if you go back to the case, and if you click on the second update, where it says February 6th at 5:31. Okay, yeah, so it was resolved and Ramesh reopened it. So that's why there was, when you resolve a case and you reopen it, when you reopen it and you want to resolve it again, the values that were previously entered for the resolution, like the resolution notes, are always staying in your resolution notes.
Okay.
So you can remove and add your own resolution note. Perfect. And now we don't hear it, but Elsie just received a new case in her omni-channel because she's available. If you don't accept it within 5 minutes, the system will put you on busy. So it's really important that when you are busy and you cannot take cases, please put yourself as busy as like manually, because otherwise the system will offer you cases, and if you don't accept them, you may not notice that your status is now in busy instead of available. So it's really something that you need to be looking at, basically. So now, Elsie, you received a new case. The case is assigned. The case status is assigned. You're the case owner. So now you have two choices. You can review the information on the case, make sure everything is properly filled in. And then when you're done with that, you decide, should I edit the case or should I just acknowledge? So in between the two training sessions, what we would recommend is you continue to go in UAT Sandbox if possible, and just to view a little bit of how it works and like what does it look like, the fields. If you have questions tomorrow, you can raise them to know, like, okay, what do we use that field for, and that kind of things. So it's really something that you can do in the meantime. All right, so now, Elsie, you're doing the first human contact to the customer, so that's good. You made sure that your comment is made public because this is a web case and you want to communicate with the customer via the public comment. So it's gonna be visible to them on the portal. So you can go ahead and save that. This will trigger the first response timer completion. Right now, this is probably an old case or an old account. So I don't think there are some milestones there, but in production, they will be there. We'll try to make some data that has some milestones for tomorrow. All right. So Elsie, what would be your next step now?
I will analyze the ticket. If it is going to be within my scope, I will try and resolve the ticket. If it is out of my scope, then I will, okay, before transferring, I will check if I have sufficient data. If I don't have or I have more questions, then I will ask the contact to provide me the details. If I feel I have sufficient data, then I will try and resolve the ticket. If it is out of my scope, then I will transfer it to the next next tier level.
Perfect. I think there's the question.
Yes, Pascal. Do we have online help for the fields?
If we have online help for what? Sorry?
For the fields.
For the fields.
Yeah.
Some of the fields have tooltips, but not all of them.
Okay.
So we have in the training deck explanation of some of the fields, but probably not all the fields are listed. because they can change multiple times, so we don't track that. But usually we try to explain you during the training sessions what they're used for.
Thank you.
And all the fields that are required have a star. So the required fields are there. There are a lot of extra fields that you may not use.
Sida has a question.
Yeah. Do you have any user guide for reference?
We have a job aid. We also have, like, in the training exercises, we have like different tabs for different links. But we also have like a training deck that we're sharing. Let me put that in the link here, as well as the job aid. Let me just find it out.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can we just have an issue here? So the first one is a presentation, and the second one is the job aid. All right. Let me know if you don't have access to it.
Yeah, we could be able to access.
Great, thank you. All right, Elsie, so what would you like to do next with that case? Would you want to skill transfer or well?
Yeah, I would like to comment to L2, and then I would like to skill transfer this.
Great.
Comment, and then I will.
So you just made an internal comment, meaning that the comment is tracked on the case. We're not tagging anyone because we don't know which agent is gonna get that L2 case. So that's the exact way to do it. That's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pastor.
And now you can see, if you scroll down a little bit, if you want to see like if it really worked, you can see like the tier level in the skill transfer status, as well as under all updates, you have like the update, case updated, a blank value for tier level to tier 2 in the skill transfer status.
Pascal, this should change. Ideally, maybe because this is a test system, but the person from the main contact from T2, so that main contact person name should be updated, right?
It will be updated as soon as the next available agent from tier 2 accepts it.
Okay. Once they accept it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think I got another ticket.
Sure.
Something.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you, Pascal.
You're welcome.
So,
All right. Is there any question about the GSE process?
I'm
All
good.
right. Thank you. So do we have a tier 2 person on the call? Let me check. Elsie, do you remember what was your product and region of the case you just transferred? Can you remind me, please? I think it was a task.
क्या बन गया?
It's PepsiCo. Account name is PepsiCo. Region is EMEA.
ले आओ बस 10
Okay.
मिनट और.
Contact name is Michael.
हाँ नीचे खाएंगे बढ़िया थोड़ा एक एपिसोड देख लेंगे. तो चल रहा पता
Thank
नहीं और समझ ही नहीं आ रहा. मैं तो बाद में देखूंगा. 2 घंटे कौन कंसंट्रेट कर पाएगा? नई ऐप पूरी नई चीज.
So, who wants to go next sharing their screen? You'll all have to share your screen at some point during the session. So don't be shy. This is the opportunity for you to learn and
वायरलेस चार्जर
get used to the system. And as you go through some scenarios, then that's where you can ask your questions.
इसमें लगा दिया करूँगा. ऐसे होता
Any
है.
volunteer?
क्या हो गया? थक गई क्या इसलिए ऐसा?
Can I? Yeah.
क्या बना है?
Perfect.
Thanks, Deepa.
तो सब्जी वही है.
हाँ फिर तो बढ़िया.
I got my logic
2 घंटे का लग गया.
today only, so I could see
2 घंटे से
my
गायब होना
manager
था
as
यहाँ से.
Jules. So
डांस कर रहे
will I get the
डांस भी कर रहे
ticket?
थे.
हैं. तभी तो ऑटो खड़ा है मेरे.
अच्छा.
So Deepa, you're a professional services agent, correct?
मेरे महबूब.
Not really. I belong to support only.
उसमें यार बड़ा ग्लास में बड़ा अच्छा दिखता
Okay.
है यार.
I'm sorry.
हाँ ना तो.
Maybe
सामने.
we got
पहले मेरे को उसमें बढ़िया
confused
कर
with
सकते हैं.
okay.
जगह पे वापस.
So let me check your user settings and put them accordingly. So you're doing E3, E4 for APAC?
E4.
E4
For
only?
APAC. Yeah.
Okay.
I think title shows professional services, right, Deepa?
Yeah.
Okay. You seem to be
यहाँ पे ना
correctly
जितने
set
बच्चे
up,
होते हैं,
but you said that you were just E4.
इन दोनों लाइन के बीच में.
Yes.
अच्छा कितने दबा
Okay.
रहे?
आपके भी
Let
तो
me
है.
update
तीन
that
है.
for you.
1 2 3
हाँ ये बीच का भी.
All right. And
और एक 4
so
ये भी.
every time, so there are some user setup that we have that we are doing. Like Aaron mentioned at the beginning, we are setting you up with skills in the background, and these are going to be handled by managers, so they can do changes to your user setup every time they want, and as
तो इसलिए तो गलत होता है.
every time they do it, you'll
नहीं,
see
सच होता है.
that, like Deepa, you had
तुम्हारे 2 मेरे 5 4 कैसे हो जाए?
you had like the little
हाँ मेरे को धोखा दे रहा है.
orange
कितना
banner.
पल रहा है
This is gonna happen when you change your
कितना पल
skills.
रहा है.
So you're online right now.
हाँ अभी मैंने दिमाग लगाया.
Okay.
यार,
So
मेरे
you
को
must
कितने
go
बच्चे कहीं और पला रहे हैं.
offline and come back available again.
जल्दी बताओ किधर पल रहा है 3.
We'll see if there are some cases for you to receive.
कश्मीर
If
में है क्या?
not, I am
कहीं
gonna
नहीं.
take one. So we said APAC. All right, it won't be long. I'm just getting a case for you.
बहुत ज़्यादा लंबी चल गई ट्रेनिंग. कुछ समझ नहीं आया सर. मतलब बहुत स्लो इन्होंने बताया. पर से मेरे लिए पूरा नया है. रात को बैठना पड़ेगा. फॉर्म भी भरना है. यूपीएससी का तुमने भर दिया?
लास्ट डेट कब है?
All right.
लास्ट डेट 19
So
तारीख.
let me. I'm doing my best to be very
तो
fast.
कर
It
भाव नहीं
won't be
देता.
long.
Yeah, no
चूतिया पूछ रहा है.
पर खाली बेबी तो नहीं कर रही वीडियो कॉल उसके फोन से.
उसको मोटे बोलूँगा तो खाना खा के आऊँगा, यहाँ पे भी बुलाएगा छोड़ती है बहुत थोड़ी देर में उसको साले बुलाएंगे को।
क्यों? अच्छा है वो।
All right.
आपके दोस्त अच्छे हैं तो
So I think you should get it. Yeah. All right. So you can go ahead and accept the case.
देखना
So it's loading. And now, Geeta, this was handed over to you, so it means that most of
उसके
the
पास अब कोई
time,
दोस्त नहीं बचा।
most of it, the information would have been entered. So like the case contact, account, but you must always review what's in there, and you may have to review like the comments or history of the case, just because sometimes like that, like Elsie did before, she had put a comment for the level 2, so this might happen and appear on the right side of all updates. So as soon as you get that that case, this is an email. It came in to an email instead of web. So what we normally suggest is that if it was a web case, you send your communication via public comment. And if it's an email, you send emails to the customer, unless you know that this contact uses normally the portal. So because you know a lot your customers, so
क्या बोल रही है?
you can decide
Kindly ping
which
here
one to
whenever
get.
ready to join.
And now,
मेरा नहीं है ये।
what I would do
Somebody should
here, if the first human contact has not been made by GSD, what I would do is send your first human contact email. We're out of time. We're getting to the point. Yeah, we're done with this session.
हाँ बस इसको अब खत्म होने
That flew by. Should we do a little?
मेरे को शाम से भूख लग रही पता है यार।
Do we want to finish what we're
अपने
doing
पास
here,
और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स
Pascal,
आइटम
or?
बढ़ गए लेकिन बहुत हैं अपने पास।
It's up to the team. I would say like we
लेकिन अपन क्या
have
करेंगे ना कि चार्जर
time
वगैरह एक
to
कॉमन
kind of
रखेंगे
continue
और जहाँ के ट्रैवल
like
कर रहे
for
हो ना
maybe
यार
5 minutes.
मेरी टेंशन बढ़ा दी यार आईफोन।
Now is that fine,
अरे
or
कुछ
do
नहीं रखना
we
पड़ता है।
have to end up right
अरे
here?
तो कवर में हार्ड वाला लूंगा ना, ऐसे ये वाला नहीं लूंगा। ये एक्चुअली क्या ना, मैंने वो मेरा जो उसमें लोहा था पीछे,
Is everyone good with 5 more minutes? Give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Yeah.
लोहा था ना उसमें पुराने।
Should be. We'll finish what we're doing here, and then we'll do a wrap up, and we'll be done within 5 minutes. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. All right, so here, Deepa, you can just send your email. Just put I and it's fine. Normally, you would just do your normal verbiage for first human contact to the customer. So you can scroll down and send that. You will be BCC'd on that email, but if we're going to show you how to remove the BCC if you don't want. So if you scroll down, there's a send button.
जाते हैं तो रहते नहीं है कपड़े।
And now,
ठीक है, एक जोड़ी ले लेंगे 2 महीने के बाद।
the first human contact would be sent, so it would complete the first response timer milestone, and next you would be going to do your work, decide if you have to hand it over to somebody else, that is maybe a manager or somebody that you think has more capabilities for that specific case. So is this something that you would do normally, like changing the case owner to a specific agent?
क्यों करते हैं?
क्योंकि राहुल
Yeah, we actually provide either classification, which is in our
राहुल
scope,
को
or
मैं बोल
we
रहा हूँ
move
अगर
to
तू भी आ रहा है तो
engineering
तू भी आ
team.
जा, इसलिए
Okay.
प्रखर बुला रहा है।
And do you often resolve the case?
तू
Uh,
आधे घंटे
I should say 50-50.
के लिए
Okay.
आप आए
So let's do the scenario where you completed your work and you're able to resolve the case. So in the comment, you can put your
अरे मैं नहीं पूछता यार।
your steps or
अपना एंजॉय करे भाई, वो भी अच्छा है, उसकी बीवी भी अच्छी, बच्चा है घर में, सब सुकून। मेरे को क्या करना उसके घर में पढ़ के कि
yeah,
क्या
that's
दिया क्या नहीं
perfect.
दिया। हाँ मैं तो सब वो अपना एंजॉय करे मस्त।
Normally, like when you have a resolution, you must communicate it
आकाश
with
को
the
बहुत आदत है
customer
पूछा पाछी करने
before you resolve the case.
बहुत।
So
आकाश मेरे को बहुत चूतिया लगता है,
that's
तभी वो बोलना, तभी उसकी किसी से नहीं बैठती।
something that you would do
बचपन का दोस्त है
on the
तो
case
फुल साथ
using
लेके चलना।
public comment or email, depending on the best way to communicate with the customer.
डोमिनेटिंग
And
बनता है यार,
then
वो जैसे खुद करता है ना, वो चाहता है दूसरा भी खुद वैसे ही करे, ज्ञान देता है फालतू का, जैसे आपको नहीं करेगा
once
ये ऐसे
you're done
करना है,
with
ऐसे कर लेते हैं।
this comment,
नहीं तो
you
इस
can
मामले में हम क्या
say,
करते हैं ना, मैं और राहुल कोऑर्डिनेट करते हैं। हम उसको
हाँ,
थोड़ा
वो
सा
सही है।
उसको थोड़ा सा ना उसको
वो
yeah,
राहुल
you can
वो
make
सही
it
है।
उसको हम
public.
लिमिट पे
And
रखते हैं थोड़ा, आकाश को। ठीक है, ज्यादा नहीं।
जैसे उसको ज्यादा करो ना,
now
फिर
we're
वो क्या
gonna go
होता है ना,
ahead
फिर वो
and hit the
पूरे टाइम
resolve
ना
button
ये
at the
सोचता है
top.
कि भाई
पूरे
तुम
टाइम
सर
साथ,
तुम
हाँ।
हाँ पूरे टाइम साथ रहो, तुम अपना सब छोड़ दो, सब अपने घर वालों को सबको,
Pascal, here
बस
we need
मेरा ही
to
करो, बस मेरे
flip
साथ
it back
घूमो
to the
फिरो,
client.
बीवी को बाहर में जाने दो।
So we need an
हाँ, वो
acknowledgement
समझता
from
नहीं
the client
रीजन।
if
मेरे को नहीं लगता
they
कि वो
have
नहीं वो बहुत
accepted our
समझता है, वो
resolution.
उन्होंने
So
बोला था ना कि
before
साले के शादी के जो
So you
पंडित
would
थे, शादी के
change the
एक
status
साल
to
में बनती है,
waiting for
तो
requester.
उसने ना अपनी बीवी को बड़ा टाइम में देखा ना, अपनी
Yeah,
बोलनी अच्छी
usually
कर
we
ली है,
change it to
दूसरे को
customer
बोल देता है
information
साले तू जा
required
रहा है इतना कि मुझे
in
अंडरस्टैंड
auto
नहीं है।
task.
वो
Here
इसलिए टाइम दे पा रहा था क्योंकि हम लोग उसको मना कर
So
दें
here
तो कहीं
I
जाने
would say
जा नहीं पाता था वो कहीं।
it is
Customer
आपने
acceptance.
बोले तो 11 बजे के बाद नहीं रहता।
तो हम लोग 11 के बाद
Solve
रेयरली कभी
pending
उसको
customer
बुलाया था। वो तो प्रेग्नेंट हो गई थी यार, तो प्रेग्नेंट अब बीवी
okay.
को तो ध्यान रखना पड़ता ना। मैं तो
Last
वैसे
So
भी
that
11
one
के बाद
would
नहीं
be
बाहर
when
निकल
you
पाता,
raise
मेरी
the
बीवी
ticket
निकली।
to the
मैं तो कुछ
to
नहीं बोला
them.
यार,
पर मैं
ऐसा
जाता
थोड़ी,
थोड़ी
मैंने
हूँ।
कभी नहीं बोला 12-1 बजे भी आया।
तो
pending
मैं
customer.
एक आध बार की बात अलग है, मैं क्यों जाऊँगा। कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट है क्या भाई, आज पॉसिबल
You
नहीं
can
पाएगा
select
कि
it.
अलमारी आई है,
This won't
इसी को फिक्स
resolve the
करवा रहा हूँ।
case. It will just
कुछ
put the
नहीं, कुछ
case
इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है।
to pending status. Every time
अलमारी
you
अलमारी कब
edit
मिली भाई।
the status, you have to
अलमारी
enter comments.
किस लिए
These are internal comments, so it's
मेरे लिए
only
लिए
you who have tech who has access to those. All right.
बैंक में
Thank
पैसे
you for
रखना।
sharing your screen, Deepa. Thank you.
दोनों उसमें बैठोगे।
All right, I'll pass it over to you, Erin, for the
नेट देखो कितना
summary.
देर में डिलीवर होगा
Thanks,
ये वाईफाई।
Pascal.
You're welcome.
बहुत बुरा चल रहा है यार ये।
Okay,
मेरे
so
फोन में तो
we
चल
will
भी
meet
नहीं
with
रहा है
this
ये
group
तेरी वाली
again
चीजें।
tomorrow to finalize training. But in the meantime, if you have time during the day
ये देखो
tomorrow
बंद है।
before we meet, if you could go into the UAT sandbox and continue to play around and think of any questions that you have for Pascal and I, so we can help answer them and guide you along.
कैसा?
Is there any questions, pending questions before we end
ये कौन
from
कह-
today?
ये कौन बैजनाथ कह रहा है? Doing
Okay,
acknowledgement.
and we always like to end our sessions just to get a feel for how everyone is feeling, and so we can adjust training tomorrow. If you could give a rating out of 5 how comfortable you are with this system right now, 1 being not comfortable at all and 5 being very comfortable. Could you just throw in the chat what your rating is?
ये बहुत बुरा था यार।
Wow, that's great.
क्या है? रेटिंग देना है क्या? रेटिंग बोला ना?
मैंने नहीं सुना।
So 5 दे।
Perfect. And then just one more thing to put in the chat. If there's anything in particular you want to go over more tomorrow, like Salesforce functionality, cases, development tickets, anything like that, could you just pop into the chat sort of if there's one thing that you want to go over more, what that is?
No, I don't know.
And then we know for tomorrow if there's anything else we should cover again. Great. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback.
चल, bye.
Okay. Well, thank you.